Drakkart and Discreet Shipyards Incorporated. When the government on Earth decided to increase the taxes in the belt, there was unrest. Unrest is neither good for profits nor the people. Drakkart back then was a foreman overseeing the manufacturing process at the Ceres shipyards. There was a colossus-class freighter going to get finished soon when the news hit Ceres station that 2 battlecruisers were on the way to re-establish order in the belt. Though of young age, Drakkart knew that would not end up well. He summoned his crew, told them to fetch their stuff, sent men to ask some of the mermaids of the local establishments if they want to leave the rock too, and then they borrowed their actual project to head out into an uncertain future further out in the solar system. Looks like they were not the only one with that idea. Soon it was a fleet of 7 ships of all sizes agreeing that the dangers of the unknown probably might be best encountered when working together. Mutual interest, a basis for cooperation, defined this small society. Quote, "We are all armed, we all can defend ourselves, but to become civilized again, we should agree on that life itself has value." End of quote. Was the argument for the next step of climbing the evolutionary ladder in the years to come, and then the corps took over. This tendency of valuing the other's life by their potential of doing business with them was only overcome when the corporations stepped in. 8 years after the Exodus, Drakkart and his fellow crew members became known to be able to build and fix things without competition. But there always was enough work around, and people hardly cared about credits these days. When water and food and shelter and air were the most precious goods to be obtained for the good of all, they found another asteroid belt beyond Pluto, and kids were born and families formed, and also corporations formed. When it then came to organized things, the corporations stepped in unicorn. Gut drillers, Corp and Discreet Shipyards agreed to take over the role of a ruling body, taxing little but organizing education and entertainment, and so on for the greater common good, so trade could flourish. There were no taxes to be paid anymore, and no interest rate to cover with the declaration of the rock dweller establishment. They agreed that such modern slavery does not fit into the spirit of these free folk, and they decided to outlaw such practices. The code of the free folk is simple. Don't harm your fellow brothers or sisters, for we all depend on each other being able to survive as a whole. If in trouble, speak up on the central hub of the station to the corps representatives and you shall be aided. Finishing the Iron Lung hospital ship was another milestone in the history of the newly formed 15,000 people strong community. It was traveling every 3 days to another of the big 4 stations. People boarded it either to get aid and health care or people just looking for a job. This flying hospital ship soon also served as a blackboard, so the workforce offered by the freelancing folk could easily get deployed where it was most needed. 10 years after the Exodus, there were 2 art centers established. Finally, as well, also a theater to claim back a bit of culture. You would not believe how peaceful a hall filled with some thick-skinned miners could become the moment the curtain is lifting. It all seemed to go well till one day we had to fight and leave again. This is story for another time. Just know ever since the corp and the people were seeking for a new home, spread throughout the galaxy and even traveled to distant ones through wormholes. Now here we are, building up once again a new foothold in our society.